Welcome to Early Access. I'm Katie Whitlock. I'm here with Lucas. Lucas, it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Would you mind telling the people? So you're an Instagram guest. That's why I'm calling people who saw my post on Instagram. I said, I need people on the podcast. I'm starting a podcast. I need people. I don't know anybody to interview. And I posted about it on Instagram. And Lucas was one of the people that responded. But you actually had a friend tag you in it, right? So
Yeah.
did you know anything about Around the Circle or about my page or anything before that? Were you following the Around the Circle guys already?
I was not. So I had heard about Around the Circle via the same friend that tagged me in the post, whose name is Rob, who's going to be a guest on this
Hi,
podcast
Rob.
as well. So shout out to Rob. Yeah, he sent me. So I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt,
Nice.
but we are both Star Wars nerds. So Around the Circle did Star Wars typing of each character.
Yeah.
Like a while ago. I want to say like 2020 or something.
Yeah, it was a while.
And Rob sent me all of those, like every single episode. So when those came out. So yeah, he tagged me in your post connected to Around the Circle, and I figured why not? And now here we are.
So how did you guys get into the
yeah.
Enneagram originally?
Great question. So I first heard about the Enneagram from my sister Sam. So shout out to Sam. But it was one of those things, I took like a free test. This is maybe like 2017, 2018. And I just took like a free test and was like, okay. And just kind of like moved on.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very, I just remember it wasn't very good
Yeah.
or like very deep. It was just kind of like, I did get 4 at that time. It was like I got a 4 was the highest score, and then type 2 was the second highest score, which is honestly very funny, given the more that I've learned about my life. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so then it was kind of like, it was a thing I did, but just kind of put it in the back of my mind. And then when I was in therapy, my therapist brought up like, hey, I think you should look into this. I think this would be very good for you. So I did. So I actually got the Wisdom of the Enneagram book, the Rizzo Hudson one. That's been
I love that book. I love that
extremely
book.
helpful.
Yeah.
Such a good book. Has helped me a lot. So yeah, so then I took the test on that one, and I got 4 again. And this time, I kid you not, I just laughed. I read the description and just laughed and went, yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty accurate. And I just never had a doubt about that. I know some people, like in their Enneagram experience, they have to like go through certain types to like fully understand who they are. I didn't.
Not so.
Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you looked at it, I went, yeah. For like everything related to the 4, which is funny now. But yeah. So that's how I first found out about it.
How old are you do you remember when you first took that test?
Yeah, so like the second time taking it, I think it was 20.
Okay.
And I'm 28 now.
So you've known
it's
it
been
for
around
a little bit. How old is
Yeah.
How old is your sister? Is she older?
She's older by a year. So she
Okay.
well, so yeah, she's 29.
She's
I'm
29. You know what number she is?
She is a 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll have her on too.
Yeah, I also have an older sister, or I have 2 older sisters, I should say. So I'm the youngest of 3, and she is a 7. So the oldest is a 7, the middle is a 6, and I'm a 4.
Cool. You got all the stances in there.
Yeah.
The independent, the withdrawn, and the responsive, all the same.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if we want to dive really deep, because we made our parents do it.
Yeah.
My dad is also a therapist, so it wasn't
nice.
that hard of a stretch.
Right.
My dad is also a 7, and my mom is a 9. So,
Cool.
and especially I will say, like being a 4-wing 3, and knowing that I have a parent that's like on the assertive side and a parent that's on a withdrawn side. That's another thing where when I first learned about that and I think about that now, I go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can see how both of those kind of like collided in my personality.
How do you think that showed up in the way that your parents parent? Like the difference in their stances, being independent versus being withdrawn? What do you see in your
Yeah.
parenting style?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I know for sure my dad, like, in a lot of things, is just very action oriented
Mm.
and is very much like, we need to make a decision, we need to do it now, and you need to like do something about it. And I know like when I was younger, it was definitely like harder because like there's a time and a place for like both responses, action or withdrawn. But I know like that was it's funny now, but like definitely times where I was like just in my feelings
Yeah.
and feeling like misunderstood. And it's like I don't want to take action on anything. I don't want to do anything about it. I just want to be upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see the value in that now. But definitely when I was younger, that was something I definitely struggled with, was just like taking action on things, even if it was like a good idea or just something that needed to be taken action on. I just struggled to do it. So I know like for sure that's just the thing that comes to mind is my dad is just very much like, you have to go after it. You have
Yeah.
to do this. You have to make the most of experiences, which is like
Right.
very seven.
Yeah.
Um, and my mom is just so sweet and so kind and so just like ready to listen to
Yes.
anything and just allow me to have that space to process and be vulnerable. So, yeah, I think like now it's definitely uh I can appreciate both styles a lot more differently, or appreciate them more rather, because it is like I know who to talk to, I guess, when I like need something more, which like as a kid you kind of get that feeling anyways. Um but now it's like when I know, cuz I have such a deeper understanding of myself, when I know that I need a certain thing, I know who to go to
Right.
cuz they're going to tell me like what I need in that moment.
Yeah. Either get up or it's okay. We can take a minute.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have one more question about your mom and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So, I've just been talking about nines a lot recently
Mhm.
and all the things I've been doing. And what we're saying is that nines, they're not they're not big feelers. Like they're not very emotional people. They're just very good at letting you have space. And so
Mhm.
it feels like they're very good at taking care of your emotions sometimes. But if you
Mhm.
really think about it, nines are not super emotional most of the time. Um,
Mhm.
I think it is a little different with female nines, but in general, nines are not super emotional. They're just calm. And so the rest of us
Mhm.
feel comfortable sharing our
Yeah.
emotions around them, right?
Yeah.
So being the number that is the most in the feeling center, right?
Yeah.
Was that ever, and having two parents that don't really touch the feeling center, not to say they are not good parents, but in their
Yeah.
hardwiring, don't touch the feeling center, right? Was that
Right.
ever hard to find somebody to like really understand what you were going through, what it felt like?
Yeah. Yes. Especially, yeah, being like the only four in the family and the only like true like heart type
Mm-hmm.
in the family was not the easiest growing up, especially when it comes to like just being misunderstood
Yeah.
and just wanting someone to like mirror that.
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, especially like when you're younger and you're a teenager and you're having all these insane
Yeah.
emotions,
Right.
it's really hard to one ride that wave in general, but two kind of ride that wave alone and like
Yeah.
not really have people like fully understand, and like maybe you get people that like do want to listen but still are kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. And then you kind of interpret that as like, well, maybe there is something wrong with me then, if I'm feeling this way and no one else feels this way or like understands it. Like that definitely brought up that mindset, which I know is
Mm.
like common for fours, is just like, yeah, like I'm experiencing this and I'm feeling this, but no one else seems to feel this. So then if no one else is feeling this or having this experience, then maybe I'm the problem, or maybe I'm the one that there's something wrong with, which sucked to
Yeah,
say it
sure.
in a
Yeah.
different way.
So I've heard some people talk about when they parent fours, fours get on the roller coaster. So their highs are really high and their lows are really low. And what's actually helpful for parenting a four is to not get on the roller coaster with them. What might be the temptation as a parent is to try to experience all of it with them. But one, you probably can't handle it unless you're a four. And
Mm-hmm.
like the four knows that you aren't really doing it the same, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not real.
Right.
And so what they say is that gives the four kind of a ceiling and a floor. So your highs get a
Mm-hmm.
little lower and your lows get a little higher. And
Mm-hmm.
the metaphor is like I'm in the park with you. I'm just not getting on the ride, but I'll be here when
Yeah.
you get off, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound helpful to you looking back at
Mm-hmm.
your childhood, or is any part of that does that any part of that sound negative in any way to you?
I think I think it could be both. I think it just depends on the attitude of it. Cause if it's like a kind of distancing, like you're gonna handle this and like I'm not a part of it, it's
Mm,
like then that leads to isolation,
right.
which wouldn't be great. But I think like kind of like you said, the metaphor of like I'm in the park but you're going on the ride. I forget which podcast I listened to this. I think it might have been Typology with Ian Cron, but I once heard a similar metaphor of like if a four is like swimming in the ocean, you just being there like in the boat. Like you
Mm,
don't come in the ocean with
mm-hmm.
me. Don't come in the waters with me because it's like you said, it's like you probably will drown
Yeah. Yeah. You can't handle it.
or
Yeah.
yeah, or it's just like or I'll sense that like you're kind of faking your way through
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like I think that is really helpful of just like being there. And I guess like as an adult too, like thankfully the waters have calmed down a lot.
Mm,
One, I would say definitely because of therapy. Two, because of the Enneagram.
yeah.
Three, because of the grace of God. Four, also just becoming an
Just
adult.
not being
Kind
16
of,
anymore.
yeah, that
Yeah.
helps a lot. But no, thankfully, like I've really cared a lot about using the Enneagram to grow. So that has helped balance things out a lot. And now as an adult too, it's like I just I don't always need someone to understand it. And that's something that's kind of cool. I guess I would say like growing as a four is like I'm at the point now where it's like it's okay if you don't understand. I just need you to listen sometimes
Mm,
or I just need you to be there. Like it's totally okay if you're like I'm not fully there with you, but as long as you like your heart is open and like you show me that you care
mm-hmm.
to at least listen and at least try to understand, it's like that's okay. That's
Yeah.
good for me. Cuz yeah, there's definitely stuff where it's like I don't I don't even understand sometimes, but I just need to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if someone is there to at least like process with me, I'm also a verbal processor, so sometimes I literally just need to talk it out and then I'm like, okay, now I understand it better. But yeah, just having someone there in the boat or there in the park will help the just kind of like bring down the intensity of everything. Because it's yeah, I would say a lot of fours, it is just yes, we want to be understood, but we also just don't want to be alone. And that's where I think like a common misunderstanding or miscategorizing of fours would be that like because we're a withdrawn type, it's like we want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be in isolation. Like I do want to be in community. I do want to have strong friendships. It's just withdrawing is so like comfortable or it's like that's like a safety response.
Yeah.
Is like this might be too much or if I feel nervous, it's like I'm going to remove myself from the situation so that I can just kind of like calm down and kind of like recover myself and then kind of know where to go from there.
Right. I think I think that's a great point. I think it's easier like with nines. I don't think people assume that nines just like to be by themselves. So
Mhm.
four, fives, and nines are all in the withdrawn stance, right? I
Mhm.
think with nines, it's people understand that like, oh, that person just needs a little bit of time to themselves, but then they'll be back. And for
Right.
some reason, I think with fours and fives, people just assume that you actually just want to be by yourself all the time.
Right.
And that's not, I won't speak for fives because a lot of fives I know will be like, no, I do like being by myself a lot. But like every four I've talked to, they haven't used those words, but they've said that same thing. Like connection is everything to me as a four.
Yeah.
And you can't do that
Yeah.
alone. I just need
Absolutely.
time to, like, being withdrawn just means that you process alone. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
you want to live alone. Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
100%.
So the other thing I've heard a lot of fours talk about is when people talk about fours, you know, every number has a core motivation, right?
Right.
And they say that fours want to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
But most fours I've talked to, at least for this podcast, have all said something along the lines of what you just said, which is I actually don't need to be understood. Maybe I used to be, but like really now I'm really okay with not being understood.
Yeah.
So what someone else used the word accepted. I just want to be accepted. I don't need to be understood. What do you have to say about that? What do you really want then? If you don't want to be understood, how would you change that core motivation of four in a way that fits you better?
That's a really good question. Let me try to talk my way through this.
You can verbal process,
But,
that's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, when I was, I mean, like, yeah, I'll just go from like when I was younger, right? Being understood was like the thing. It was like the goal. Is like if I could just find someone to understand me, if I can find a place to understand me, then I'll be okay. Which is like I don't know if I like actually thought that way, but like looking back now, it's like 100% that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm a musician, so I got into metal music, which is another thing that like now that I have the perspective on it. I was the singer of a metal band, right? And which always surprised people, especially when they meet me. They're like, "You're so like charismatic, and you're so like bubbly, and you're so kind and friendly. Like, what are you doing like yelling up there?" Or like I remember a comment that always stuck with me, which was very funny, is that someone was like, "I can't believe such a big voice would come out of someone so small." Which granted, I'm
Thank
like
you.
5'10". I'm like not that tiny,
What does that
but
mean? Yeah.
yeah. I mean like I weighed like 130 pounds when I was like 18. I was tiny that way, but like I was like 5'10", like not that short. But it was like, yeah, but like looking back on it, it's like metal is the music of like either like feeling misunderstood or feeling depressed. And it's like both of those can be right there, and it's like such this visceral like just alive response. So of course now I'm like, oh man, that makes so much sense that I was drawn to that when I was younger. And I still like metal. I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but I still like it. So like any of those people that like to say like it's a phase, it's not a phase.
It's not
metal
a phase.
is still metal's still cool. But it's just I mean, to go on a tangent there, as I've grown as a musician, as I've grown as a person, like music isn't about music. Music is about life. And that's a quote from Herbie Hancock that I've always just really enjoyed so much because it's so true. Like musical genres are just different emotions if you think about it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like if you expand your understanding of emotions, you're going to listen to different kinds of music because you're experiencing different emotions. And for me, when I was a teenager, a lot of that was metal music, just like very, very deep, very angsty metal music, or like pop punk and alternative rock. So like definitely very much in the like alternative scene.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, so like I got into metal music, and now I understand like so much of that was because one, I felt misunderstood. I felt like people didn't listen to me or take me seriously. So then it's like that was such a huge outlet that now I'm on the stage and I have this big, powerful voice and I'm the center of attention. And it was very healing at the time. And it was super cool. Like, and that's the thing too. I don't want to like confuse both of them because it was both. I mean, at the time I was like, this is awesome. This is super cool. I like this. But now as an adult, I'm like, okay, but I think it was also yes, but also I think I needed that outlet.
Right. Yes.
So, like, I remember at that time, to kind of tie in the question of like, feeling misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, it would be like so, I don't want to say like heartbreaking, but I guess I'll say that for lack of a better word. But it was just like when people found out I was in a metal band, or like my family members or like extended family, and it'd be like they just don't get it, like kind of thing. And I remember like it used to bother me, and it used to be like, man, like why don't people like understand, I don't know, how cool this is or how fun it is, or just like why don't people understand that like why I'm writing these lyrics like this, or why I like listen to stuff like that. I remember that was like such a thing. But now, like now if I encounter someone who doesn't like metal, for example, or like will be like, metal music, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like funny now. It's like whatever, like who cares? I don't need you to understand that. And I think that's just honestly because I've just grown as a person,
Mm.
that I have just cared a lot less about being understood, because I've accepted that like, and I've just accepted that like I am different. I am special. I am unique, to use the foreword. And not in just an arrogant way, but it's just like I've had enough experience with other people to know that like I just think differently than most people.
Yeah.
Not all people, but just most people.
Yeah.
I think differently, I feel differently, and like it's not good, but it's also not bad. It just is. So that's where it's like the need to being understood has just kind of diminished now, because it's like just accepting like, oh, I'm just kind of different than other people, which has been nice. So like to try to answer the question now of like what do I want? I think it is just still like to be authentic, to
Mm.
not feel like I have to change myself to be accepted.
Yeah.
Um I think that's just a phase that I'm in right now, or like maybe like not the word phase, but just like where I'm at right now
Yeah.
has been like, you know what? Like I'm 28. I know myself. Like I don't want to feel the need to change myself to be accepted. And it's more of like just that kind of, I guess, assertive energy, which has honestly taken me a little bit to grow into. But it's just like, you know what? This is who I am. If you don't like it, then that's okay. We don't have to interact. Like, we don't have to be friends. Like, and that's okay. I've definitely grown in that a lot. But, like, oh my gosh, being younger and, like, it was like, if someone doesn't like me, it's like, what's
Right.
wrong with me?
Right. Right.
I
Right.
have to get them to like me. But it's just like now, I mean, of course, everyone wants to be liked. Like,
Of
it still
course.
can be hurtful at times, but it's just less of like I'm not as just like destroyed if someone doesn't understand me, or if someone just doesn't like get my energy. It's like that it's really, it's like that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel any negative energy towards you. It's just like we just it's okay if we don't interact then. Like
Right. 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 We can be different people. That's okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like to clarify too, like even if people like that I do interact with that are different or don't get it, it's like it really is a thing too now of like that's okay. Like if we have a coworker that's like different, it's like we can just do our job. Like
Hmm.
you don't need to fully understand me to like work with you know.
Right. To do our job.
Um right. It's like we can just do our job. Yeah, so I guess it hopefully that answers the question. I know I
It
kind of
did. I
rambled
hear
there.
what I'm hearing is what I hear from a lot of fours, which is it switches from needing to be understood. And I'm going to ask you a question about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
it switches from that to I just need a place where I can be myself.
Yeah.
You don't have to
100%.
get what I'm being, but you do have to give me the space to be myself, and you need to not change me. You need to
Yeah.
not want to change me. And as long
Yeah.
as I have that, that's okay. That's what I
Yeah.
hear when fours talk about what they have learned since they were teenagers. That is what I hear
Mhm.
often, you know.
Yeah. 100%.
Um but talking about when you were younger and you did want to be
Mhm.
understood,
Yeah.
tell me why it's so important for a four to feel understood. Like, what are you
Mm.
trying? maybe this is a really wrong characterization of it.
Mm-hmm.
The way that fours sometimes talk about it, it feels like there's like a hole or something, and
Mm-hmm.
they feel like being understood would fill it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think
Uh,
that's actually pretty accurate.
Talk about that. Why is it so important, right? That's my question. Why is it so
Yeah.
important to be understood?
Yeah. I think it's honestly, to just cut to the chase, it's like a fear of a lack of identity
Hmm.
or a lack of purpose. And it's like, if I feel like so insignificant and like my life doesn't matter, then I feel like if I could be understood in this or understood in like why I am the way I am, then maybe that will give me purpose.
Hmm.
Yeah. Especially like being a four wing three, like there's a lot of three stuff that I read that's like really, that does really resonate
Yeah.
a lot. Like here, actually, I have the Wisdom of the Enneagram book because I was going to
Hey.
bring this up because it's like the unconscious childhood message
Mm-hmm.
part, and it says like for all of them in like the intro, it says for type 4 it's not okay to be too functional or too happy. I read that and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like
Hmm.
I never thought that as a
Yeah.
kid, or like I didn't feel that. But when I read type 3, it's not okay to have your own feelings or identity. It's like that hurts. Like even if I read that this morning just to like
Yeah.
reorganize my thoughts, and I'm like, that still hurts. Cuz for me that's what it felt like, of like it's not okay to be yourself. So it's like, okay, so then who am I, right? And if I'm just this like misunderstood enigma, if I have this hole within me, to use what you said, it's like if I could just be understood, and like I think that would just solve a lot. And yeah, I think that's probably the best way to explain it, cuz of course like I wasn't really thinking like this when I was a teenager. It was just very like feeling
Yeah.
oriented. It was like I just want to be understood. I want to be understood, never quite asking why. It was just like I just know that's missing, and I just know there's something missing, which of course is like very characteristic of four,
Right.
to always feel like something's missing. And I do still, to the extent, which can be annoying at times, but it's just like that's just part of the personality. It's just like that little voice kind of in your head that sometimes you will be like in just a really good spot, in a really good place, surrounded by people you love, or just, in a really good environment, and that voice will still just be like, okay, but you don't have this,
Right.
or you didn't do this, or things like that. It still kind of like catches up. But I
Yeah.
think that's why when you're younger, it is just like trying to find identity, really.
So are you waiting for someone to tell you your identity? Or are you
Hmm.
waiting for someone to discover what you already know about yourself? You just have a hard time translating.
Yeah, I think it was more so the second one, for
Okay, talk
sure.
about talk about that.
Yeah, I think the because four is like we have such a rich inner world
Mm-hmm.
that we don't always share with people, which I've heard or read as described as the fantasy self, which I think is really interesting.
That's
I
interesting. I've
also,
never heard that actually.
yeah, I've heard that. I think it's in the Wisdom of the Enneagram book.
Okay,
I've also heard that in some podcasts. I honestly used that as a song title for a song I wrote because I thought it was super cool.
that's cool.
But yeah, it's the fantasy self was like, honestly, I guess to use an example, like I would, I guess like, man, this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I had the fantasy self of like being a musician, like being on stage, being like really good at the piano, but for like a while I just didn't practice. And it was like I didn't work
Mm,
on that. I didn't do anything to like move that dream forward. And it was because like the fear of like, what if I do this and then actually like I suck at it,
right.
and then I just lose this identity that
Yeah.
I've cultivated for myself. So it was like for a long time it was this rich inner world where it's like I know who I am, but not taking action on it, so it becomes the fantasy self. So I think I'm getting kind of lost in the weeds. What was the question again?
What was my original question? Oh, the question was, are you looking for someone to
Oh, yeah.
tell you your
Um,
identity, or do you already know?
right. So it was like, so we already have this developed like identity, at least most of us who are fours. So it's like, I want someone to understand that and see that and like say, and I guess just say like that's okay.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing wrong with that, especially when I was younger. It's like that's if that's who you are, like that is okay. That is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Rather than being told who you are, that feels very wrong and like very much like I don't want to be told who I am. I want to because I like especially now I would say too. It's like I know who I am. I just want
Yeah.
people to see who I am without a filter, without the bullshit. If I
Right.
can,
Yes, you
for
can say
lack of
that.
okay, but yeah, it's just like yeah, I just don't want to compensate and like
Mm-hmm.
especially being younger, which like so much of this is just perspective on being a younger four.
Yeah.
Um, fours in stress, fours in disintegration.
Mm-hmm.
Go to two. I spent a lot of time there, like an embarrassing amount of time there of just trying to people please and trying to help people because I thought that that was like that's how I could get attention, that's how I could get love. And it's like I still really I like to think of myself as being very kind and caring, and I know a lot of people would describe me that way, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful for, but it just I know better now about like drawing the line of like am I doing this to actually be kind and caring and like just cuz I want to, or am I trying to do this to like earn affection?
Mm.
Um yeah, and like I was in like a lot of like stressful environments too when I was like younger 20s. So I definitely would kind of like sacrifice myself in a way because I felt like I had to.
Mm.
And that's a thing now where like kind of going back to the things we've talked about, you know, it's like now it's just like I just want to be myself
Yeah.
and not have to feel the need to compensate to get a friendship or to be seen or like or anything like that. It's like because like the two part like the stress two part it's like it does kind of feel like an abandoning of self at times, or at least it used to.
Interesting.
um yeah.
I think that is pretty core too, like abandoning yourself for others,
Yeah.
right? What kind of, you don't have to say the
Mm-hmm.
specific situations you were in, but I was just,
Yeah.
so I'm interested in the stress stuff because actually
Yeah.
last night I taught a class on stress and the Enneagram.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I said is that when we talk about stress in the Enneagram, it's not just being stressed. Like it's not just like being stressed out that day or like being
Yeah, yeah,
anxious. When we talk about stress in the Enneagram, what we mean is when your core motivation is not being met and your
yeah.
normal tools from your number aren't working, that
Mm-hmm.
throws you into stress. So you start picking up tools from your stress number, right?
Yeah.
So what sorts of things as a four would cause you to go into stress like that? Like the situations are going to
Yeah.
be different for every number, right? What
Yeah.
sort of things would kind of make you feel like your core motivation wasn't being met and that you needed different tools to like fix it?
Yeah. I it definitely was like an unhealthy relationship, like an unhealthy romantic
Mm-hmm.
relationship. Obviously, I will like not say
That's
the
fine.
person's name for their
That's
lack
fine.
of privacy and stuff, but like I just look back, it was just not a good situation. I would honestly say like for either of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for me, I just felt the need to like I guess yeah, like people please or just kind of like just always be there and like being in touch with my emotions, especially being a man and being in touch with my emotions is like kind of a rarity. So I think that was like taken advantage of a lot at that time
Yeah.
of just like needing to be the emotional one, or like needing to be the one that understood emotions for that person. So like that was a lot of like, kind of the sacrificing thing of like feeling like I had to do that all the time to kind of like gain the affection of this person that I was in a relationship with.
Right. Do you? Okay, I'm going to switch subjects now. I think
Yeah.
what you just said is very interesting. And right now, Jeff from Around the Circle and I are doing a lot of stuff on gender and the
Mm-hmm.
Enneagram.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you about the intersection of a bunch of different things, and then you can
Go
just
for
say
it.
whatever you want, right?
Go
So
for
you're
it.
you're a 4,
Yep.
which is a feeling type. You're a
Mm-hmm.
man,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also young.
Mm-hmm.
So in this new generation, we have a little bit of a different definition of what a man is, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
no longer has to be the provider, although that is certainly still very prevalent in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what has your experience been as a male feeler,
Yeah.
right? Specifically, because I think sometimes people get weirded out by that, right? Or they're like,
Yeah.
just pick yourself up or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's not been easy. I'll be
I'm
completely
sure
honest.
that's my question,
Um,
right?
yeah, it kind of sucked. Like, not the actual process of it, but just like one, just like being sensitive in this world, and like sensitive meaning like a deep feeler and a deep thinker. Because definitely when I was younger, I heard like sensitive was like a derogatory term. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
you're so sensitive.
yeah.
Like, you're just sensitive about everything, which I'm not a fan of. But yeah, as a man, it just led further into misunderstanding, because
Hmm.
it's just like, especially to like having guy friends, like most of my guy friends did not want to talk about their feelings, did not want to
Yeah.
like have these deep thoughts, did not want to like talk about what, existentialism when we were like
Mm-hmm.
13 years old. They're just like wanting to play Halo.
Right, right,
But it's
right.
just like, for me, it was like, oh my gosh, like we will die one day.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah. And
Anyways.
like, oh, yeah. No, it's really hard, honestly, to like, give that like respect, I guess, to a younger me. It was very hard. It also like, and I know this is like changing with this current generation, or like younger generations and stuff too. It definitely like led to a lot of people like thinking I was gay
Yeah, I was about to ask
also,
that too.
which is
Yeah.
like, which I'm not, and of course like nothing wrong with that, but it's just like that sucks. Like, especially
Well,
growing
yeah,
up,
to
where it's
have
just like,
that automatically linked
yeah,
to if you're a man and you have a deep connection to your feelings, that automatically means you're gay. That
yeah,
sucks, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and that of course like it leads to like the further like frustration and being
Right.
misunderstood and stuff. Yeah, and it was very odd experience, and like thankfully that's like not really much of a thing now, or like not much of my experience, but still it throws people off. Yeah, there's even like some experiences that I have too, where I just like uh really listen to people, and like that is something that I'm really thankful about, and I think is like my superpower, is that I can really be there for people and really listen to people
Yeah.
when they're going through a hard time, and like that doesn't freak me out at all. It's like I've been there, I get it. So I can kind of like help guide them through there, or just listen, and like that in itself is like really empowering. But sometimes it does still kind of catch people off guard of like, but you're a guy
Yeah.
and you can do this, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and therefore what?
Right.
um but yeah, I guess like, and I wish for any type, to any guy that's any Enneagram type, it's just like, I wish we were more involved in our feelings, just because
Yeah.
there's so much power there, and there's so much understanding to of the other gender, or I mean just people in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, to deny your feelings is just such a bad thing to do. It's just, that's not how we're wired as human beings. So I am thankful for that like now it is a superpower to be used. But yeah, it definitely was not easy having that experience, because it is so uncommon for like
Right.
males to just be so readily available to talk about feelings.
Did did or do women also react negatively? Or is there a difference in how they
Um,
react to you?
Not usually.
Okay.
I think maybe like there's still sometimes maybe. I think now, uh, more people see it as like a positive thing,
Mm-hmm.
or just kind of like surprised. Which again, like for me, it's kind of funny when girls are just like, "Oh, wow," like and it's just like, it's funny because it like shouldn't be
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
Um, when they're just like caught off guard and they're like, wow, like most guys like wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay,
I
it's
will. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's I think like maybe when I was younger, a lot of girls like didn't understand that as well, just because it is like so different.
Yeah.
So it would be like they didn't know what to make of it because it's like you're a guy and like guys should be like this, but you're not like
Mm-hmm.
this. So
Mm-hmm.
then what's going
Right.
on, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
I want
But I
I
know,
go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, a lot of times, like, I feel like I was able to make a lot of good friendships with females or just, like, get, like, really close. Like, I mean, I also have two older sisters, so, like,
Right.
I could talk about a lot of things too that were, like, related, or, like, I don't know, I could just find, like, common ground because I kind of like understood that more and just like yeah, wasn't afraid to have those conversations or ask those questions.
I think it's really interesting what you said about feelings having power when
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about you wish more men could connect to their feelings a little more. What do you think if more men would connect to their feelings? Because I do think this is a big thing in our generation specifically, right? I'm also
Mm-hmm.
thinking of all the like red pill stuff, right? Like all the stuff on you, like the far right,
Yeah.
all these things, whatever. We don't have to get too
Yeah.
political, but just
Yeah.
I just think that's a big conversation right now
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think the power is that men could pick up from their feelings?
Yeah. I think you will just lead a more meaningful life and just
Mm.
stop wasting your life. I think because here's the thing about feelings, whether you're aware of them or not, they will control you.
Mm.
So that's also like that's the power of them in of themselves is like
Yeah.
most guys want to ignore their feelings, want to stuff them down. They're still going to make a choice, an action, a decision based off emotions. They'll say, oh, I'm not emotional. I'm not going to do this.
Right.
But then will react in fear over a consequence and or just like make a decision that's like charged in anger rather than like really understanding like why do I feel this way. So I think the power just comes from it's funny because like most guys like want control, right? Or like
Right.
stereotypically we want control, we want power, but it's like you will actually gain more control of yourself and your life if you just acknowledge what's going on and like and really like think about it, feel it, process it with someone. Like I think that's what I wish more guys could understand and be okay with cuz it's like obviously, there's the stereotype about like being strong and like the
Right.
machismo kind of thing, like can't let my guard down, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like but when you do let your guard down and embrace it, like you become more human, which makes you more relatable to people, which makes you like easier to like get along with people.
Right.
So I think it's just like musings on that. I think
Yeah.
really cuz I know for me too like in my introspection I've done I mean, like introspection comes naturally to me, right? But like a lot of my work has been on taking action and understanding where the feelings coming from, and then what can I do about it. And sometimes it's nothing, and that's okay. But it's at least like I know. And
Right.
sometimes it is like, man, I'm really upset about I don't know, like my schedule. If I'm really upset about like not having time for myself, it's like, okay, I understand I'm feeling that way. It's like I have the power to change that rather than just being like living every day being like,
Mad.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
so angry, like
Yeah.
so frustrated, like and taking that out on people that don't deserve it. It's like this is a small example of like I can be like, okay, like so then I can understand, oh man, I'm feeling burnt out or like, oh man, like I signed up for this thing and I said I would do this, but like I really don't want to do this,
Yeah.
right? So it's like understanding, okay, so that's taking a toll on me. I have the power to change that. So it's just like more examples like that. And I think like, and also, I mean, like, it has helped me get along with my girlfriend so much better. It's helped me get along with just people in my life so
Yeah.
much better. Like, and the power also comes from when other people aren't doing well, you can be that stable, grounded person
Yeah.
because you understand fully what that emotion is like, or you know, having empathy, which is like the dirty word now.
Yeah. Right.
But having empathy of like, hey, I've been there before. I know what it's like to be this stressed out about this situation, or like I know what it's like feeling super sad about this. You can be that person that like helps someone else because you are in touch with your feelings and it's not
Right.
like scary to you
Yeah.
to go there.
Yeah. It's like like true healthy masculinity is not being worried about what other people are saying about your masculinity, right? Like
Yeah,
it is just
100%.
being comfortable in yourself and not worrying
Mm-hmm.
about what other people are calling you or whatever. And I think you make a great point. Like we all part of Enneagram theory is this whole we all think, we all feel, we all do, right? Those are the three
Mm-hmm.
centers that we can draw from in the Enneagram. And the point of the Enneagram is to point out that you are unbalanced in one or two of those centers, right? Or
Right.
all of them are unbalanced. You're not doing one or two of them very well. And if we are going to paint with a very, very broad gender brush, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you
Right.
are a man and you want to be an effective leader and in control and a provider, you
Mm-hmm.
have to do all three of those things.
Right.
Because, like you said, you are not in control of yourself if your fear and your anger controls you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to be in touch with all three of these things if you actually want to be effective, right?
Right.
I think that was great.
Yeah. Thank
Okay, here's my last question for you. Okay, I ask
Fire
everybody
away.
this at the end of every podcast. So you're
Okay.
28.
I am.
We're going to go back 10 years. So
Yeah.
you're 18. What would
Mm-hmm.
you tell your 18-year-old self if you could talk to him?
Yeah. I will say I think about this sometimes and I wish there was like an alternate reality where I could just
Like
do
really
that
actually do
without
it?
and not like have the butterfly effect
Yeah.
where I do that and then it ruins everything, but like I really wish I could just talk to him just to like see the difference
Yeah, me
and
too.
just see what he would say, or like there's some times where I'm like, man, I did this thing. Like I really wish I could talk to my younger self and be like, we did it. Like
Yeah.
we wrote this song, or like,
Yeah.
you know, we played at this venue, like, and stuff like that. But um man, I would really tell him to stop caring so much about the
Mhm.
image-based things and stop letting that control him. Um, I cared so much about what people thought that would hinder me from doing things that I actually wanted to do. And that really sucked, because it would be like, you know, I really want to do this thing, or I really want to like be friends with this person, but what would that reflect in me, or what would people say if I did
Right.
that, or like stuff like that. And it's like it's embarrassing in a way to like admit that, but it's like there were definitely times where it's like I would like exclude myself from some of those things even though I really wanted to do that because I was too worried about what other people thought
Yeah.
or how that would reflect my image, this like self-made image. And like I honestly, for a while, so I've had this phrase in my mind which is that like nobody cares, and for a while it was like a negative thing of like
Hmm.
nobody cares, like this is so sad, like
Yeah.
I wish people did. It's the same phrase, I just have a different outlook on it where I'm like nobody cares, like nobody cares what I do, in a good way of like
Mm-hmm.
no one's gonna be super upset with me if I make this decision.
Right.
Or like in music that's been like really helpful because it's like of course like image based stuff too. Of course with music it's like I want to present it in like the
Right.
right way, but it's just like I released an album in November. It was my first album, and like I cared so much about that thing. I spent like 3 years working on it. I like tried to get like every detail right, or like at least like to my standards, or
Yeah.
just like I just cared so much about being intentional and being thoughtful with it. And truly, like, no one really cared. I mean, like, my family cared and like my friends listened to it, but like broad spectrum, like, no one really cared or
Right.
listened to it, which was like really hard and crushed me.
Of course.
I made a new song this year and released it this year, and I just had the same phrase but flipped it and was just like, no one cares what I do anyways. I'm just gonna make the song that I like. And like when it comes to even like vocal takes, it's just like I like this take, but before it was like I like this take, but is this setting the right mood? Will this capture
Mm-hmm.
the audience attention? Well, and it's now it's just like I like this vocal take. I think I sound good. That's
Yeah.
the one. And it's just
Check.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was so much more fun this time because I was just
Good.
like, this is the song. Like, and I still really like those songs from the album, of course, but it's just like this I was just so much less in my head now and more just like this is the song I want to write. This is the lyric that I think should be here. This is what it is. And actually a lot more people responded to it and enjoyed it. It's called Falling in Love over the phone. But yeah, and like that was just a cool experience of just like, oh yeah, like no one cares in a good way. Like I can
Yeah.
just be myself, and the people who will enjoy it will find it,
Yeah.
rather than like feeling like I need to like win people over or, like present it in a certain way. It's like I just trust myself more of like this is the music I like, and the people who also like it will find it, and the people who don't won't, and that's okay.
Right. No, nobody cares, so I can do whatever I want. And
Yeah,
it's freeing.
it's
Yeah.
so freeing.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, I would
great.
definitely tell him that.
Where can people find you if they want to look up your music?
Yeah, so I release music under the name of Thought and Feeling, so very Enneagram 4. But I do really care about like the music being like cerebral, being nerdy. I mean, I have a degree in music, so I definitely want to put like nerdy stuff in there, but I also want it to be richly emotional and like have people connect to that as well. And I care a lot about like writing deep introspective lyrics. So Of Thought and Feeling is the band name. On Instagram, I believe it's just at Of Thought and Feeling, like the whole word or the whole band name. On Instagram or on TikTok, it's at OTAF music.
Yeah. Okay.
For TikTok, but it's on all the
Cool.
streaming services. It's everywhere. My personal Instagram is at Luca Beige, which I get a lot of questions about, which is funny, but to me, it's just my name. And it's the color, like I like the color beige, and it's like very similar to my last name, so I
Yeah.
just thought it'd be funny. But the amount of times I've gotten people be like, so what
is that
is
about?
Luca Beige?
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
That's funny. Well, thank you, Lucas, for being here. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I